Hi, I'm Jan Hutchins. Welcome to the webinar. So what brought you today? Where's the tension between where you are now and the more healthy, energized, productive life you deserve? Do you know the single most important thing you can do to be healthy? I bet you don't. But today I'm going to tell you what it is and teach you how to do it. How do you think your posture is influencing your mind right now? Sit up straight, take a deep breath, and notice how that shifts the way you feel. Here's another clue that will surprise you. I propose you never again believe anything you think, and that your life will improve, I promise. I know a lot about health and fitness because I've hung out with world-class athletes almost my whole life, taught yoga for more than 25 years. I've been a fitness freak for more than 50 years. I've been seriously injured and recovered along the way. And talk about extreme, I emceed both the Mr. and Ms. Olympia bodybuilding championships. I judge you might be here because you're experiencing chronic pain, illness, disease, or have nagging injuries that are taking the fun out of living. Perhaps you're losing some of your abilities and are afraid you're succumbing to the effects of aging. Or you're spending too much of your life feeling tired, weak, bored, and dragging yourself through your days. Or feel anxious, stressed, stuck, perhaps even angry or depressed, and trying to figure out how to keep going. Maybe you've lost your libido, misplaced your mojo, lack joie de vivre, and want it back. Whatever your reasons, I'm here to share how to handle any pain you're feeling, significantly slow the aging process, and understand how to heal yourself, body, mind, and soul. I'll expose you to things you should have been taught as a child, insights about living in a human body, including how to have superpowers I bet no one has ever shown you. That there are no problems in life, only opportunities. I'll also formally introduce you to your body. Isn't it about the time the two of you were properly introduced and start to be friends? Let's start with the basics. Who am I and what is pleasure stretch? I am a lifelong amateur athlete, but I've been around world-class athletes my whole life. I've studied the science of the body and various fitness disciplines and have come to understand some revolutionary things. I've compiled them into an anti-aging system I call pleasure stretch. I emphasize pleasure because it's so enjoyable to practice. I actually had to call it pleasure stretch because of the bedroom sounds people make when they do it. I'm here at 66 years old, feeling better than ever, traveling almost full-time, coaching and healing people around the world, a beautiful warrior princess by my side. My wife, Olga, who's also a coach, has a background as a marketing executive and technology entrepreneur. She's brilliant, beautiful, and a force of nature. We met 4 years ago, decided 2 weeks later to get married, and almost immediately started to build a lifestyle business that would allow us to be together, go anywhere in the world we want, and make lots of money doing something we love. And it's happened. I judge it's relevant you hear about my journey because it will help you understand why I might be the right one to help you on yours. I was an only child, raised in a small town in Ohio. I graduated from Yale. Since then, I've had 11 different careers. Right out of Yale, I was a hotshot recruit at AT&T, but I was not cut out to be corporate. So I walked into a TV station in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and asked for a job and amazingly got it. I was soon recruited to San Francisco as a sports anchor and was a television journalist for 19 years, living like a celebrity and getting to be friends with all my sports heroes. When I started to feel like part of the problem was TV and not the solution anymore, I left to run community development for the San Francisco Giants baseball team's new management. I left that to do private placement fundraising for what almost became the world's first robot caddy. Was creative producer for an Emmy Award-winning children's TV show, working with 49ers Ronnie Lott and Joe Montana and their families, teaching emotional intelligence to 5-year-olds. My civic involvement while I was anchoring the news in San Jose, California, included serving as chair of the San Jose Sports Authority Board of Directors, vice chair of the Santa Clara County Ethics Commission, and fundraiser, golf chair, and MC for 30 years for the amazing Job Train nonprofit. In 1996, I was elected to public office as a council member in Los Gatos, California, and became their first and only black mayor. After turning down feelers to run for Congress, I spent 11 years owning and operating the Yoga Center of Los Gatos. Currently, I'm a national board member in the Mankind Project, a magnificent men's initiatory organization. Also, I'm CEO of Social Agenda Media, a thought leadership marketing company, and I coach for the Physio-Hemodynamics Institute my wife founded. And at Pleasure Stretch, I'm an executive coach to powerful athletes, artists, and entrepreneurs, and right now I'm your webinar host. Pleasure Stretch is distilled from my experiences doing the following: working out and competing with big-name athletes and watching them train, including Bruce Jenner as he prepared to win the decathlon at the 1976 Montreal Olympics. From spending a week in Muhammad Ali's training camp in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania, as he prepared to fight George Foreman. Becoming friends with fitness legend Jack LaLanne, the man who almost single-handedly started the fitness revolution in America. emceeing bodybuilding shows starring legends like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Corey Everson. In the dugout as Charlie Finley's swinging A's of Jackson, Hunter, Eckersley, Fingers, and Campaneris won titles and turned the game on its ear. In practices and sitting at the scorer's table when Al Attles, Rick Barry, and the Golden State Warriors knocked off Big Bad Washington to win the NBA championship. On the sidelines watching Bill Walsh teach Montana, Lott, Rice, and the rest of his San Francisco 49ers how to build a dynasty with grit and grace. Having dinner and deep discussions with sports icons ranging from John Wooden to Don King to golfing legends Jack Nicklaus and Sandy Tatum, and the late-night sessions I had with the great Michael Murphy, who started Esalen and wrote both the novel on golf, Golf in the Kingdom, and the book on extraordinary physical experience, The Future of the Body. All these experiences, my own life of fitness, men's work, and teaching yoga are part of Pleasure Stretch. It will feel good, heal you, inspire you, and whether you're a baby boomer like me wondering how to stay vital, or you're young and yet already unhappy with the life experience you're having, it will bless your life. Make no mistake, the way to a better life runs straight through your body. Nietzsche expressed it in this way: there is more wisdom in your body than in your deepest philosophy. And Pleasure Stretch will help you discover and use it. Another great philosopher, Raquel Welch, wrote in her book, Beyond the Cleavage, "My body is the shape I live in, and it shapes the way I live." I think you'll agree by the time we're done. Now, Pleasure Stretch. The system is based on these 4 fundamentals. Number 1, it's a set of understandings about how to communicate with your body. How would you describe the relationship you and your body have these days? For most of us, it's love and hate, more often hate. Pleasure Stretch teaches you to understand your body's language, to start being your own body whisperer, able to tame your troubles by leaning into what's going on in your body, enjoying more expanded living by stretching beyond your comfort zones, and breaking the mental patterns that keep you stuck. Eventually, you'll recognize you are not a victim. You're actually the hero you've been waiting for. Number 2, it's an exercise system that's not just about the body. It's about health and happiness. Practicing the understandings can compensate for all the imbalances, stress, and inactivity in our modern lifestyles. You'll gain balance, physically and emotionally, and with it, the ability to recover quickly when life hits you with the unexpected. You'll be less likely to be injured, and if you do get hurt, you'll heal faster. The exercises can be as challenging as you want, certainly enough to keep you youthful, powerful, flexible, and resilient for life. Number 3, pleasure stretch gives you superpowers by challenging you to breathe properly, question your thinking, and generate life force energy. Do you even think about your breathing? How many breaths do you take in a minute? How many would be ideal? Radiant breathing, a fundamental part of pleasure stretch, will even help you get rid of a pot belly. Breathing is that thing I mentioned at the start that's most important for keeping you alive and healthy. How long can you go without food? About 3 weeks, actually. Water? About a week, depending on conditions. Breathing? About 3 minutes for anyone but world-class freedivers. The world record for them is 20 minutes. Wow. So why do so few of us ever get serious instruction on the most important thing we do to stay alive? During my training, you'll get all the instruction you can handle, enough to change your life. And 4, pleasure stretch training supports a way of living, of self-actualizing. You develop the ability to quickly return to a state of relaxation, even in stressful, scary situations. Everything goes better when you're relaxed. The sensuous stretches and self-massage counteract the stress of modern life. And pleasure stretch asks you to choose to live in a sacred way and as celebration. Part of the training requests you do the hard work on yourself necessary to transform weaknesses into strengths, to face your fears, to learn to handle pain and being vulnerable, and to be willing to face your demons and wrestle with your shadows to become the best person you can be. Right now, the cynic in you is quiet. I'm making sense to the part of you that longs to be out of pain, knows you're not living up to your potential, and wants to share the gift of your true self with the world. But I'm guessing you've been here before, made the resolution, joined the gym, bought the exercise machine, promised and planned, only to wind up right back on the couch, eating, drinking, drugging, procrastinating, and feeling the frustration and shame of failing to follow through. Want to know how to make it different this time? Our brains learn from new information and new experiences. So open up, drop your cynicism and doubt for just a moment. Take a deep breath, long, slow exhale, and keep breathing deeply as I offer these insights. The habits you've built took years to develop, and they keep you feeling a kind of comfort. Breaking them will require a brave leap off into the unknown, and that's hard for us humans. That's where I come in. I was a chubby teenager. I've been addicted to substances. I've dithered, delayed, and avoided away years of my life. I know how hard it is and how much help most of us need to break free. That's one of the reasons everybody needs a coach. I also know how horrible it is to spend 20 years with knock-me-to-my-knees back pain, to stay stuck way too long in a loveless marriage, to have it all and let it slip through my fingers. I can relate to your suffering. Here's my journey in an allegory that hopefully explains why I'm here for you now. Late at night, cold, lost, and wandering in the woods, our hero happens upon what looks like a hobbit house. Hungry and tired, he knocks and, surprisingly, is welcomed in. Eyes adjusting to the light, something seeming just right, he steps out of the night into mystery. His host speaks in metaphors, spicing the meal with meaning, adding wisdom to the warmth, insight to the comfort of a safe place to rest. You are in the right place at the right time, says the host. The mystery tells me you have burned enough. Look into this mirror. Our hero, expecting to see a reflection of the hellish journey he'd been on these many years since being called to wander the woods, was shocked. In the mirror shone a bright, beautiful reflection, gold, lit like the light of the sun from within. I offer you these magic powers. First, people will be able to feel their own gold in your presence, so you will carry richness everywhere you go. Second, you can be the grandfather energy that's able to nurture all the human family. And third, you will be able to balance inner and outer abundance, giving and receiving, risk and trust. All the mystery asks in return is that you be present to all people as your family and live up to the role of wise king as you exercise these powers. Now eat, rest, and in the morning be on your way as though new, knowing you've passed your test and have become the person you were called into these woods to be. And so it was. In the morning, the hero woke, alone. Rising, he smiled at the sunrise, turned to discover a steed built for speed, and rode toward his destiny in the world. So here I am, fulfilling that destiny and calling you to yours. How can I help you make this chapter in your hero's journey the one where you finally break through? By giving you superpowers. Notice how you feel right now and what you're thinking about, how your body feels. Find a way to make yourself as comfortable as possible. If you're in a chair with a headrest, that's good, or find a couch or even lie down on a soft place on the floor or on a bed. Just do the best you can wherever you are to be comfortable. Now, make your next exhale last as long as you comfortably can. Let's do it a few times. Notice anything shifting? On the next exhale, use what I call dolphin breathing and let the exhale pop through your lips like a dolphin popping open its blowhole when it comes up for air. See if you can notice a wave of relaxation that when you pop that air out flows through your face, down your jaw, neck, shoulders, even into your arms. Keep noticing that wave of relaxation spread through your body as you continue to make your exhales long and slow. Let yourself keep releasing all the holds and tensions in your body until you rest fully in your seat. If possible, lay the head on the back of the couch or chair. Lie back and melt into whatever's holding you. You have my permission to completely relax and totally stop trying. I'll say that again. You have permission to completely relax and totally stop trying. Just a few more slow, complete exhales where you let go more than you've ever allowed yourself to go in years. Try this. After your next exhale, just wait in the silence and emptiness and space until the next inhale asks or demands to come into you. While you take just a few more, let me explain. We live in a world where we're told to never stop trying, to give 120%, which, of course, is impossible. Many live lives of quiet desperation, trying to get ahead, but barely keeping up or falling further and further behind. Even success doesn't have the result we expect. Notice how this feels to finally stop trying, to step off the treadmill and rest. How do you feel? Getting to this place and then living closer to this place is basic to pleasure stretch. Because in this place, your heart is beating slower. Your blood pressure is lower. Your immune system is stronger. Chronic pain and diseases, as well as conditions like asthma and diabetes, are all improving. It's a superpower, available free anytime you're smart enough to use it. You want these superpowers, right? When you get the pleasure stretch training, I'll help you connect this breathing technique to specific needs and desires of the body so you can become your own therapist and able to dismantle the issues of a lifetime. The training comes in modules you can use anytime and combine based on your particular situation. So over the course of each month, you can cross-train and balance your desires and needs so you reach relaxed strength, flexibility, and resilience and become more effective and fulfilled in every area of your life. Sign up now. It's just $229, and for the first 50 who sign up, I'll throw in a 1-hour personal consultation with me so we can even more effectively tailor the training to your specific situation. You'll also learn about the other half of the breathing superpower, the inhale. Pretty complex. The inhale and exhale together, including pausing between breaths and using energy-moving physical techniques, lights up the entire body with life-giving energy. You'll feel like you have the power of the sun inside you, and this experience and the superpowers it gives you are available free anytime, anywhere. Here are more of the kinds of things you'll learn when you buy the Pleasure Stretch trainings. First, every bodily sensation is a message, an attempt by your body to communicate with you. By patiently listening to your body's wisdom, you learn how to handle all the challenges of living. You'll develop a respectful student-teacher relationship with your body and become able to understand what it needs by the sensations it's sending. 2, breathing is life. Everything depends on it. The quality of your breathing determines the very quality of your life. Using radiant breathing, you can produce age-defying energy. In proper breathing is the power to break bad habits, get what you really want, and remember who you really are. It can get you through your deepest fears and most intense pains. 3, do you believe your thoughts and feelings are true and then live your life according to what you're thinking and feeling at any given moment? Well, how's that working? Consciously choosing what to think and how to feel can effectively ease or even eliminate physical, mental, and emotional difficulties. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is worth the work to learn how to do. Because when we believe what we're thinking is true, we walk around in a kind of trance, worrying about a past that's gone and lost in a future that hasn't arrived, missing the opportunity in what's happening right now and being able to do something about it. In fact, the inability to heal, to resolve difficult situations, or even the idea that something is impossible to change all result from false beliefs. These limiting beliefs are literally issues held in the tissues of the body. They permeate us with negative, undesirable energies and lead to difficulty and dis-ease. With Pleasure Stretch, we learn how to put our energy to work in positive ways. 4, what's the single most important thing in physical yoga? It's called Uddiyana Bandha and is the vigorous pulling of the belly in against the low back, which of course firms the belly and forces the inhale up into the lungs. When you discover and begin to live from the actual center of your body, which is located in the middle of your body, approximately 2 inches below the navel, movement, power, and proper posture will naturally result. It is the foundation of rooted standing, effective breathing, and body awareness, and has been described as like the root of the tree of life. 5. Why does stretching feel so good? The fascia, the tissue that surrounds every organ, muscle, and nerve in the body, is stimulated. Blood vessels and muscles are massaged. Energy flows along pleasurable pathways. Stretching releases endorphins, which gently stimulate the same region of the brain that is stimulated during an orgasm. This creates a feeling of euphoria and sense of refreshment. And we need lots of stretching because the constant pull of gravity and the traumas and pressures of everyday living cause us to slump, stoop, and lose flexibility. We develop what massage therapists call cringe patterns, where tightness is frozen in us as a result of some past physical or emotional trauma. We learn how to feel and release these cringes with pleasure stretch. Stretching fully along the energy lines of the body helps prevent the bent-over shrinking that shouts aging. Natural weight control and regulation of metabolism is awakened when the body is intensely stretched and repeatedly asked to go beyond the limits of old patterns. 6. Do you ever talk to trees? Do you lose yourself in music, dancing, art, or some hobby? Then perhaps without knowing it, you're a shaman, which only means you recognize the invisible connections that exist between every animate and inanimate part of our world. Pleasure stretch works with that recognition to ease fear, give us power, and produce a sense of awe and appreciation for life. We learn exercise is not about dominating or punishing the body to get results. Instead, it's shamanic understandings about coming into respectful relationship with the body and the entire natural world. Shamans, just a name for the healers in tribal cultures who use their connection to natural phenomenon to heal themselves and members of their tribe, and you can too. 7. Want to feel something cool? In the practice, we use our connection with the earth to experience and use the lines of energy that run through our bodies. Right now, wherever you are, stand up if possible. Or even if you're sitting, push down with one foot and then the other until their pressure against the floor is perfectly balanced and equal. Rock your weight back into your heels if you're standing and slightly squeeze your legs toward one another in either position, and notice the energy that moves through the legs and up through the body, eventually lengthening you all the way up through your neck and head so you're standing your tallest. Notice the emotional shift this causes. More confidence. Just feel better. In pleasure stretch, we learn how to use this energy as a superpower for better posture and to have more energy and strength all day long. 8. What are you addicted to? Can't do without. Need even when you know it isn't good for you. If we can break our cultural habit of craving, seeking more, and trying so hard, we can eventually slow down enough to experience, to savor actual peace and happiness right here and now. Using releasing, relaxing breathing, and energy techniques during exercise to slowly gain strength and flexibility teaches us how to accomplish goals while minimizing injury and not adding to the sense of anxiety that drives us toward addiction. It's learning that yes, meditation is a great practice, but it's an even better way of life. And how good it feels to be connected and present to each act, each breath, each movement, each mouthful of food, each activity as it happens. Number 9, do you have trouble getting yourself to work out? I do, even though I've been obsessed with staying in shape my whole adult life. A couple of years ago, stuck in I don't want to one day, I simply stopped, got down on the ground, breathed, stretched, and waited, pausing for long periods of time between breaths. Eventually, my energy spontaneously came back on its own and I broke through the resistance. I use this trick now when my body feels tired, stressed, in pain, injured, and doesn't want to work out, show up, follow through with what I've said I'd do, give up its addictions, or get over whatever it is. It's a welcome relief from all the stressful pressure we put on ourselves. And by giving myself permission to drop, relax, and roll around like a baby, I unlock some elemental ability to face life with, as they say in Zen, my original face, my elemental, unforced energy. And it naturally begins to flow again. I want your life to stop being about what's wrong and become a free-flowing adventure again. With these understandings, you'll start to tame the issues that have been keeping you out of the game, up at night, robbing you of the life you want and deserve. I'm guessing, like most of us, you have too much to do and not enough time to do it, that it often feels like you're being pulled 8 different ways. Well, what's the most important ally you can have in that situation? I say a well-functioning, fit, energetic body that knows how to breathe away stress, stretch out the kinks, and have the resilience to bounce back no matter what emotional or physical events try to knock you down. And here's how you can get it. I'm right now offering you a chance to get the full Pleasure Stretch training for just $229. And if you buy right now, I'll include a special gift of one-on-one session with me for the first 50 who purchase the training. Before you question the cost, consider how much you're already spending on massages, chiropractic adjustments, therapy or coaching, doctor visits, alcohol or other drugs. What's the cost of feeling the way you do right now? I'm sure the Pleasure Stretch training is worth $229 to leave all your pain and suffering behind. Just follow the link to be one of the first 50. I'm going to give you enough during this training to empower you, perhaps never need me again. But the problem is, for most of you, Pleasure Stretch will be like learning a new language. Partly because most of you have never been taught the superpowers I've already shown you, or others like the power of self-acceptance. Even if you don't believe it now, you are good enough. You do deserve everything to be healthy, happy, and out of pain, regardless of what Mom or Dad or some other adult said to you as a child. Whatever grades you got, which mistakes you've made, however many times you've failed before, this time I've got your back. And more important, I'll explain how you can show up for yourself more than you ever could before. That there is nothing that's not already available to you, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or financially. I get that for many of you that might take some convincing. And if you're willing to give yourself a chance and practice, 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 practice being who you want to be, you can be just that. We live in a crazy world, dominated by materialism, obsessed with doing, seeking, thinking, and most of us were never taught how or encouraged to satisfy our soul needs or properly soothe our bodies. Well, it's time somebody taught you, and if you let me, I'll do it. Transformation is presented to us as getting something we don't have, becoming someone other than who we are, when instead it is ending the habits we created, often as children, to deal with painful, frightening situations going on in our lives. We were taught to believe and do what others wanted us to believe and do. It's time. Time to stop believing the lie that power lies outside of yourself. Time to stop believing that having more things will make you happier. That we should wait until we retire to live the way we want. It's time to break out of the prisons we stay in only because someone confused us, broke our spirit, and left us believing we are sheep when at our core we are powerful kings and queens, fully connected with and deserving of all that is possible. It is time. If you want something to change in your life, though, you're going to have to change something you're doing now. Give up some things you have now. What is it for you? Some addiction? Some person or voice in your head who intimidates you into staying small? I don't wanna. Now's the time to shift from the current thoughts and feelings that reinforce the way you're living now and start practicing new thoughts and feelings that will create the new reality you want and deserve. You'll have to learn to accept, even enjoy being out of your comfort zone. You'll have to end your addictions to drugs, drink, distractions, and feeling small and safe. You'll have to be patient and stay with the new patterns despite the call from friends, family, institutions, even your own body to go back into the cage. You'll have to make what you love more important than what you fear. It's time I tell you about some of the success others have had experience using pleasure stretch and radiant breathing. Done mainly on the floor, pleasure stretch is safe for all ages and body types. It's worked for seasoned citizens, current and former professional athletes, and people recovering from a variety of injuries, illnesses, and stresses. One injured athlete said, "I'm in pain when I arrive, and every time there's no pain when I leave." Here are more reactions. "I've never breathed like that in my life." "I don't even like yoga, but this pleasure stretch style is pleasurable and leaves my body feeling relaxed." "My chiropractor wants to know what I've been doing. I no longer need the injections for my spine. It's put the pep back in my step." And the healing process my body is experiencing as this practice unfolds is amazing. Something chiropractic adjustment, deep tissue massage, and medicating, both self and prescribed, have not invoked. Here's a letter from a pleasure stretch client you need to hear. "Hi, Jan. I want to let you know that my pain has significantly diminished again, thanks to our time together, and that I'm committed to observing and acting to breathe and move into my pain rather than away from it. I had several revelations after our session thanks to your transmission. I have a better appreciation for the flow of energy that has been all but shut down in my body, given my focus on mind. It seems that rather than herbs, diets, or pharmaceuticals, that energy flow is the missing key for me. Restrict energy, breath, oxygen, and inflammation seems a logical result. Add them, and it diminishes. You are a master teacher and the ideal person to move me from my habitual sense of being emotionally shut down and physically contracted that has been in place for most of my life. Your expertise, wisdom, and compassion are huge. Your recognition and understanding that my living in my head and taking on burdens and trying to make things work rather than allowing things to happen ultimately manifested in the pain. I felt waves of energy at several points during and after today's session and felt distinctive changes being seated in my body for the first time. When we finished working, I shared my heightened energy with my wife, and she said, "You're here. You're here," and tears came to her eyes. It was the first time in 3 years that we connected so deeply. I believe living in my head all these years has blocked energy and empathy, and that by working together, we will move through my physical re-education as a foundation that will enable me to finally fulfill my destiny. In appreciation, Jeff. Wow. That letter is clear evidence of how transforming pleasure stretch can be, but it's also evidence for the power of the major challenge you'll face to get the life you want, to have less pain, more vitality and health, better relationships for yourself and others. More success in every phase of your life will not happen unless you're committed and willing to stay with the practice despite all the temptation to go back into the cage. Because the man who wrote that note stopped practicing and went back to depending on drugs and diets and hiding in the prison of his thinking less than a month later. And as amazing as his behavior seems, it's not unusual. Brain research describes the phenomena like this. Every time we have a thought, we make and send a chemical version of that thought through our bodies that stimulates the body to feel the way we're thinking. Fearful thought, fearful feeling in the body. The fearful feeling stimulates more fearful thoughts, which send more fear-feeling chemicals, and practice long enough, we take on a state of being that is fearful. The redundancy of making and feeling the same chemicals for many years not only creates a fearful personality, but conditions the body to control the mind like an addict, demanding the mind think fearful thoughts so it gets its familiar fear chemical fix. That's what we call a habit. So until we can think greater than our habitual feelings, we'll turn away from change. How Jeff put it? I believe living in my head all these years has blocked energy and empathy. Hear that as equal to the New Year's resolutions people make and then break when the body says, no, I don't want to get up and exercise. No, I don't want to give up ice cream. No, I feel like suffering because that's what I'm used to and I want what I want. The body, which is supposed to be the servant, becomes the master and overrules the mind. The point of this is, for you to change will be uncomfortable, perhaps very uncomfortable at times during the process, and you will be tempted to go back to your old habits. But when you buy the Pleasure Stretch training, you'll start to regularly receive this kind of useful information. Emotional support for the challenges of making those changes in your life, and you'll get a plan you can follow every day to create the new habits that will become the you who lives with pleasure rather than pain, who can savor what is rather than always feeling you need something to be happy. The you with superpowers to use when you're scared, confused, tired, or tempted by old patterns and problems. I'm going to again offer you a chance to get the full Pleasure Stretch training for just $229. And if you buy right now, I'll include the special gift of a one-on-one session with me for the first 50 of you who purchase the training. Before you question the cost, I'll remind you again to consider how much you're already spending on massage, chiropractic, therapy, doctor's visits, drinking or drugging away the pain. It's got to be worth $229 to leave all that pain and suffering behind. I don't want you to leave without this last superpower. 3 relatively simple steps that can change your life, that you can use whenever things feel wrong, unhappiness starts to take over, things get dark, angry, depressed, even if you're in physical danger. First step, stop and relax. Usually it's just the addicted brain and emotions calling you back into bad habits, bad feeling. You can't fight them. They're only illusions, like ghosts. There's nothing to fight. It's as useless as kicking your shadow. Don't try. You can only relax out of them, so breathe as slowly and deeply as you can for as long as you can to get your system to restart. Shake the negative feeling out of your body like a duck shaking off water, like a dazed fighter shaking off the cobwebs. You can even say the word abracadabra, a special word that's been used since the 3rd century BC and is used to this day by magicians to symbolize making what they say come true. You'll say it to confirm you've become awake and to remind yourself you are no longer caught in the illusion of your thoughts. And by saying it, you're making your true self come true. No longer a victim. Instead, with your superpowers in place, you become strong, relaxed, and ready. Second step. Now that you're conscious, look around and notice that whatever the situation, it is what it is. And that, as one of my wise former incarcerated friends says, it's all good. In other words, you can see it as an opportunity rather than a problem. That even if the situation is scary as can be, you have the power to deal with it. Whatever it just is. And fear or worry or desire can't change it. It is what it is. You have life, strength, smarts, talents, and can apply them in this situation. Things, whatever the situation, just are as they are. Finally, as you continue to look consciously at what is, accept it is what it is, you'll start to notice something you can do. an action you can take, a strategy you're moved to enact, a tactic it feels natural and right to employ. And you move, apply your unique, amazing, magnificent personal power to affect the situation. It might be you do something as simple as cleaning up, saying something that comes from love and connection, channeling your wisdom on behalf of your world, going and calmly starting your exercise or another positive practice, all the way to choosing not to indulge in the escape of addiction, or to being the samurai warrior joining a life or death battle with intensity, clarity, and grace, or escaping the trap so you can live to fight another day. Whatever the challenge to your peace, prosperity, or person, stop, shake it off, relax completely by breathing slowly and deeply so your body becomes clear and calm. Look around and see that it is what it is, a situation and opportunity to exercise your power rather than a problem too complex or scary for you to handle. Then do the thing that calls you into action. Apply your complete passion and enthusiasm until you've completed the task. So I trust you can now see how much more Pleasure Stretch is than just an exercise system. That when you sign up for regularly practicing this practice and apply these understandings, you'll start developing not only physical, but also mental, emotional, and even spiritual fitness that will prepare you to have the life of your dreams. Maybe you've seen the movie Horse Whisperer with Robert Redford and Scarlett Johansson, where Redford plays legendary real-life horse whisperer Tom Booker and uses his uncanny ability to communicate with horses to miraculously heal both an injured horse and an emotionally damaged woman. I use the term body whisperer so you can imagine the profound shift that happens when you learn to honor and communicate with the wild animal of your body. But it's also true that Pleasure Stretch can help you be a whole life whisperer as you learn techniques to calm yourself, shake off the illusions that keep you trapped in fear and desire, and come into an authentic relationship with everything in the universe. You become able to release all your power freely into the world and make your life and the lives of others a blessing. Okay, let me answer some of the questions that come up when people are first experiencing Pleasure Stretch. How is it different from yoga? It's significantly different from much of modern yoga. Yoga is a magnificent scientific system of living I have loved and practiced most of my life. And most of the yoga available to you today is skewed toward being too much about just the body, and I judge because it's become such a big business, pushes students to do too much too soon because harder classes sell better. Bikram Choudhury, founder of the Bikram Hot Yoga style, is an old friend. He was smart enough and honest enough to say he could buy all his Rolls Royces because Americans lack self-worth, want someone to tell them what to do, and need to feel, by sweating buckets, they're less unworthy. I judge this obsession with more is what causes so many injury in lots of yoga classes, and more is better fitness systems. We'll punish, even injure ourselves in the pursuit of more muscle, better butts, feeling better about ourselves. Pleasure Stretch evolved from my own practice, from having nothing left to prove, and because I wanted a system to both strengthen and heal, increase flexibility but not injure, to, as is true of the original forms of yoga, make a positive difference in all areas of my life. As it evolved, it began to connect with the work I was doing as a life coach and sitting in men's circles, and I realized how ideal the system is for baby boomers who want to really care for themselves, their families, and communities, and live strong and healthy far into the future. What can I get from Pleasure Stretch that I'm not getting from fitness training? As I just said, valuable as fitness training is, it also suffers from the more is better mentality, which leads to injury and excessive wear and tear on the body. My hope is you'll do whatever exercises and recreational activities you love and feel benefit you, but because of what you learn in Pleasure Stretch, you'll do it more consciously, safely. I played football and kept playing even when I'd become numb over half my body during games. It took me years of yoga to heal from all the injuries. My chronic back injury came from using bad form lifting heavy weights. Today, I only use body weight resistance exercises, do calisthenics, swim, walk, and of course, pleasure stretch. If you include weight training, I hope you use radiant breathing to keep you focused, aware, and balanced, and include lines of energy and extension principles so you maintain better form that will allow you to keep working out and stay in shape until the day you die. Is pleasure stretch similar to the effects of chiropractic adjustments? Yes. Deep, full-body radiant breathing, including the energy holds and movements, open your chest. Get breathing into the upper lungs. Release the back with chiropractic-like adjustments. Exercise your lungs, massage your internal organs, and make room for deeper, more complete relaxations. I get adjustments all the time during my pleasure stretch sessions, and they arise from energies and movements in my control, not applied from the outside. What exactly do I get when I purchase the video training? You get me talking you through and demonstrating a series of practices starting from the introduction and understandings that can be done lying in a bed, through other levels of intensity and modifications, winding up with a very challenging strength-building workout that will leave you in a pool of sweat. Each session features explanations of the philosophical and emotional understandings as well. As I said, the modules can be used anytime and combined based on your particular situation that go over the course of each month. You can cross-train and balance your desires and needs and wind up relaxed with strength, flexibility, and resilience, and becoming more effective and fulfilled in every area of your life. Buy it now for just $229, and for the first 50 who do, I'll throw in that 1-hour consultation with me so we can tailor the training to your specific situation. I judge you're already spending more than $229 a year on some combination of massage, chiropractic, therapy, alcohol, or other drugs, so cost is not the issue. Okay, I've exposed you to the basics of what I know and have experienced in my own body and watched happen in hundreds of clients and students. Just knowing, however, is not enough. Acting on what you know is what makes the difference. So let's get you enrolled in the Pleasure Stretch Training Program. I offer a full money-back guarantee if for any reason you're not satisfied with the Pleasure Stretch Training Program. And I'm sure if you start at the right level, stick with it through the challenge and resistance that I've warned you to expect, that you'll begin by experiencing first the relaxation and recovery you've been waiting for forever. And then slowly, wisely, start becoming friends with your body and your life. And then as you're ready, you'll safely begin building the strength, vitality, and sense of joy and fulfillment you deserve. I can't see and be with all of you as you begin the training, though, so I must ask you to take responsibility for yourselves, to consult your physician about the training and follow their advice. I want personal time with you, so I can't resist making some one-on-one sessions available. So for the first 50 who sign up for the training, I'll include a private session with me where we can connect, talk specifically about you, your situation, answer your questions, and discuss how to best achieve the results you want from Pleasure Stretch. As I leave, let me summarize. Pleasure Stretch is the art of healthy living, the practice of leaning into what is. It's stretching comfort zones and breaking mental patterns, to recognize we are not victims, but rather the hero for whom we've been waiting. The practices transform our fear and anger into humor, peace, and positive superpowers. Radiant breathing energizes the body, clears the mind, brings peace to the soul, and enables us to meet the pressures of life with resilience. All we do must be done in a sacred way and as celebration. But to do that requires doing the hard work necessary to transform our weaknesses into strengths, to become intimately comfortable with pain and being vulnerable, and willing to face our demons and wrestle with our shadows to be who we can be. Thank you for staying with me. Now take care of yourself. Love yourself and the amazing body you've been given. And let pleasure stretch lengthen your life and your enjoyment of it.